Hi, Samantha. Good to have this conversation today.
Hi, Martin. Glad to be here. This question has become unavoidable for anyone in tech right now.
Absolutely. Almost every student or junior developer I speak to asks the same thing with IE AI writing code so effectively. Is learning coding still worth it in 2026?
The honest answer is yes, but not for the same reasons it was worth learning 5 or 10 years ago. Coding itself has changed from being the primary value to being a medium through which value is delivered.
That's an important distinction. AI can generate syntactically correct code very quickly, but it doesn't truly understand the intent behind a system, the business constraints, or the long term consequences of architectural decisions.
Exactly. AI produces output, but it does not carry accountability. In real production environments, humans are still responsible for correctness, security, performance, scalability, and compliance. When something fails in production, it's not the AI that gets the call at 3 a.m.
And in practice, we already see where AI performs well and where it struggles. It's excellent at generating boilerplate, writing CRUD APIs, refactoring code, translating between languages, and drafting tests or documentation. But it consistently struggles with ambiguity, poorly documented legacy systems, complex debugging, performance tuning, and security sensitive logic.
Those areas you mentioned are actually where experienced developers create the most value. Understanding why a system behaves a certain way under load or how a small change can introduce a security vulnerability requires deep context that AI simply does not possess.
So, would you say that the skill of typing code is becoming less important?
Typing code manually is becoming less important, yes, but understanding code deeply is more important than ever. In 2026, a developer's value comes from defining what should be built, why it should be built, and how it should evolve over time. AI can accelerate execution, but humans still define intent and take ownership of outcomes.
There's also a shift that many people don't talk about openly. AI increases productivity, but it also raises expectations. Teams now expect developers to review AI generated code critically rather than accept it blindly.
That's true, and it has real implications for careers. Junior level work that involved repetitive coding is shrinking, while the demand for strong judgment is increasing. Developers are expected to detect subtle logic flaws, reason about edge cases, ensure compliance, and understand systems end to end much earlier in their careers.
This brings us to the uncomfortable question: what happens to entry level developers?
Entry level roles won't disappear, but they will look different. New developers will spend more time reading and modifying existing code, validating AI generated outputs, debugging real systems, and learning how APIs, databases, and cloud infrastructure actually behave in production. The learning curve is steeper, but it's also more aligned with real world engineering.
For someone starting today, the advice used to be learn a programming language. That advice feels incomplete now.
Very incomplete. What matters now is learning fundamentals that remain stable even as tools change. Computer science basics like data structures, algorithms, and concurrency still matter. System design skills matter more than ever. Debugging, observability, and understanding logs and metrics are critical. Security awareness is no longer optional. And finally, knowing how to collaborate effectively with AI, how to prompt it precisely, validate its output, and recognize when it's wrong is becoming a core professional skill.
There's also an economic angle that people often ignore. Has AI reduced developer salaries?
Not across the board, but it has changed the distribution. High-skill developers are often more valuable because they can leverage AI to multiply their output. Lower skill roles are under pressure because companies need fewer people to produce the same amount of code. AI hasn't removed demand for developers, but it has concentrated value in those who can think critically and own complex systems.
Another aspect that's often overlooked is the psychological shift required from developers.
Yes, many developers struggle with this. The mindset needs to move from "I wrote every line myself" to "I am responsible for the system working correctly." Ego-driven coding is becoming obsolete. Outcome-driven engineering is what organizations care about now.
What about people outside traditional software roles? Is learning coding still useful for them?
Basic coding knowledge is becoming a general professional skill, similar to how spreadsheet skills once were. It improves problem solving, automation thinking, and communication with technical teams. But deep specialization is only necessary for those who want to build and maintain complex systems.
So, if we had to give a clear verdict to someone watching this in 2026, what would it be?
Learning coding is absolutely worthwhile, but not if the goal is just to write syntax. It's worthwhile if the goal is to understand systems, solve meaningful problems, and take ownership of technical decisions. AI didn't replace programmers, it replaced shallow coding. The developers who adapt, think critically, and use AI as a tool rather than a crutch are more valuable than ever.
That's a strong conclusion. It seems the future doesn't belong to those who type the fastest, but to those who think the clearest.
Exactly. And for anyone willing to learn the right way, this is actually one of the best times to enter the field.
If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below.